Mass or aesthetics. No matter which one you prefer, we all love one thing: bodybuilding. Some are better than others, so that's why I'm counting down my top 10 greatest bodybuilders of all time. In my opinion, of course. Number 10, Chris Bumstead. C-Bum is one of the most famous bodybuilders right now, if not of all time. He's got one of the most aesthetic physiques of all time, besides one guy, which we'll talk about a little bit later. He brought bodybuilding back into the mainstream, and I think that's well deserving of number 10 on the list. Number 9, Mike Mentzer.
For those who want to build muscle mass, the most important principle is that of intensity. The harder you train, the more weight you lift, the more muscle you'll develop.
Mike Mentzer was one of the smartest bodybuilders of all time when it comes to building muscle, and he's definitely got the physique to show for it. He was basically the original no BS fitness teacher, and for that reason he was pretty controversial back in the day, which means that he never won an Olympia even though he was well deserving of winning one in 1980. I think he played a huge part in modern bodybuilding and well deserving of number 9. Number 8, Frank Zane. While not being one of the biggest bodybuilders of all time, he's definitely one of the most aesthetic. He had some crazy conditioning for the late 70s, early 80s. Combine a big back, tiny waist, and almost perfect proportions, and there you go, you got Frank Zane. One of the founding fathers of modern bodybuilding, and well deserving of the number 8 spot. Number 7, Kevin Levrone.
100-pound dumbbell curls in your face.
Kevin Levrone is the greatest hyper-responder to steroids that we've ever seen. This guy would completely hop off everything in the off-season, hop back on a couple months out, and just blow up in size and strength. He's definitely a contributor to the Mass Monster era, being one of the biggest guys to come out of the late 90s, early 2000s. He had an absolutely incredible physique, but sadly another example of a guy who probably deserved to win an Olympia and never did. Still eligible for number 7.
24-inch guns, baby, in your face.
Number 6, Phil Heath. Phil Heath had one of the most well-rounded physiques that I've ever seen. Nothing really too big and nothing too small. Phil Heath was crazy dominant in the 2010s, winning from 2011 to 2017, racking up 7 Mr. Olympias. That ties him in second for most Olympia wins, right behind number 5, Lee Haney.
Yes, I had to work hard. You just don't hand gifts out. You have to go get it. And I went and got it with all of my heart.
He is not lying. Lee Haney won 8 Mr. Olympias in his career, tying him for number 1 most Olympia wins of all time. He's got that perfect classic bodybuilding physique in my opinion. Not quite entering into the Mass Monster era, but still very big and very deserving of the number 5 spot. Number 4, Jay Cutler. The infamous 2009 quad stomp made headlines around the world and is definitely one of the most legendary bodybuilding pictures of all time. Jay Cutler won his first Mr. Olympia in 2006, finally putting an end to the reign of the great Ronnie Coleman.
Jay Cutler!
Jay Cutler went on to win 3 more Mr. Olympias for a total of 4. He's got a great physique in my opinion, especially in the leg department with legs measuring 30 inches. He's been one of my favorite even ever since I was just a little kid. Jay Cutler was just huge. Chest was huge, legs were huge, back was huge, arms were huge, but not as huge as this guy. Number 3, Dorian Yates. Known for the blood and guts videos, and also known for being one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, and the OG Mass Monster, Dorian Yates was the OG Mass Monster. Dorian Yates trained under Mike Mentzer in 1992 and 1993, and almost doubled his size in the matter of just 1 year. He is without a doubt one of the biggest guys that we've ever seen hit the Olympia stage. And by the way, he won 7 of them, so he's tied for second place most Olympia wins with this guy. Number 2, Arnold. Not saying the last name. I don't want to get canceled.
I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm coming day and night.
Number 2 is of course Arnold because he's Arnold. I mean, seriously, he brought bodybuilding into the mainstream in the mid-70s with his movie Pumping Iron, as well as other movie roles. He's of course known for having some of the biggest biceps of all time, as well as having one of the biggest chests of all time. I, and pretty much everyone else, would say that Arnold is the founding father of modern bodybuilding. Arnold won 7 Mr. Olympias in his career, putting him in second place for most Olympia wins. He would have been number 1 on the list if it
Yeah, buddy! Lightweight! Lightweight, baby! Go! Yep! All right! Yeah, baby!
got a little bit cut off, but number 1, Ronnie the King Coleman. Come on, man. Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman won 8 Mr. Olympias in his career, tying him for first place with Lee Haney. Ronnie Coleman's one of the biggest bodybuilders we've ever seen. He had a big physique and an even bigger heart. Ronnie's, of course, got one of the best personalities out of any bodybuilder, one of the nicest guys that we've ever seen enter the Olympia stage. Ronnie's personality alone got him number 1. The physique is just a plus. Well, that's it for my list, but I want you guys to comment down below your personal lists, as well as comment if there's any guys that I missed. Subscribe, check out my previous video, follow my Instagram, everything down below. That's about it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.